Hello, everybody, to a new episode of Vision Vanguard. I am your host, Sage from Vision, and with me I have...
Hey guys, I am the Alphonse Zeus, Team Greylaw, Team Vision, checking in once again.
All right, and I'm Chris, content creator extraordinaire. And also doing a little bit of commentary, so just joined Vision. Very excited about it.
Okay, well, thank you all to this new discussion. Chris is new to Vision Vanguard with the podcast here, so I wanted to give him a big welcome. And of course, Alphonse has been here a couple times, so it's great. So we wanted to go into our sort of midsummer meta-analysis of what's going on in VCC. So if you didn't know about VCC, it's a tournament we Vision people hold on CFA, where we can play online because people don't usually play online right now. I mean, play at home right now because everything that's crazy is going on. So it's the only place people can go to actually do a tournament, and it's qualifiers. And so the first 4 weeks, we're already past the second week. You can qualify for the big event in May. And after that, we'll also have a team tournament event for fun. And there's some cash prizes. If you want to find out more information about that, you can go to our Vision Discord in the description. But let's just get this kind of talk on the way. We're actually just going to go through Standard first for week 1 and 2. So I wasn't casting Standard week 1 or commentating on it. I know Alphonse and Quinn was mostly doing that. So can you tell me a little bit about that, Alphonse, that first week?
Yeah, sure. So pretty much going into this tournament, since it was, the first initial tournament and the establishment of this meta of the Axel Fight Club with Narukami and Aquaforce, Revon, Vanquisher, they were going to pretty much be a popular choice. A lot of people knew that going into it when the sets were launched, and they definitely have great advantage engines, aggression engines. It's just kind of like a great total package of how solidly both of these Axel clans can build up a hand pretty well and also retain their field. So looking at some of the graphics that Vision has put up, which is very well done. Looking at the top 8, we see that it's been mostly dominated by Vanquisher and Revon. Definitely good, with some a little slight deck changes between some of the first and the second place. But some of the interesting things is that it's always good to see a dark horse in there. So seeing Chrono Tiger Rebellion definitely blew a lot of people's minds. We didn't realize it. I commentated one of the matches that they had, I think, when they were currently 3-0 or 2-0. It was either round 3 or round 4. And it was against one of the meta decks. I think it was against Revon. And we just thought, all right, how bad is this going to rush? And unfortunately, the Revon player wasn't able to put up much of a rush on that grade 2 ride. But when Chrono Tiger came out with Rebellion, just sacked all the crits on. It was insane. So I think that was kind of the momentum that was going into it. I think it was just okay, with just more drive checks, you're bound to get more crits. That's how it is. But of course, also seeing the lone Neo Nectar player in top 8 also is pretty cool too, showing that Neo Nectar can still rock it, even though Axel has kind of taken up a lot of the meta, just from formats before. Looking also at the clan breakdown, see a wide disparity. Seeing 18 Aquaforce, 17 Narukami, and that was insane.
That's half the playing field. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's half the playing field. You got the closest ones are 8 clans for Angel Feather, and I think that's Shadows.
Yeah, if you combine everything else, it equals Narukami and Aquaforce, right? So
yeah,
it's insane. Yeah, and the one Neo Nectar player, one Zoo player hit top 8, which is pretty nice.
He came to play.
Yeah,
he came to play. He just knew his matchups. He knew what he was going to get himself into, and that's the danger when you go in with a meta deck. It's good because it's effective, but that's also a pretty much a big warning shot on your back, because you got these other players that are trying to seek of okay, how do you stop Revon? How do you stop Vanquisher? And people are willing to create some really roguish decks, or just these decks that have the tech in order to kind of beat them. So Chrono Tiger was one against Vanquisher just because you're binding cards regardless. So I guess Narukami realized I'm just feeding into their strategy.
Mhm.
And with Neo Nectar, you got tokens. So they buy my tokens, that's fine. But then, sooner or later, you're going to have to bring out more board
Yeah.
with just a lot of normal units.
So that
So,
it feels like that standard, and if we'll look at week 2 in just a moment, but it seems that standard. There are some pretty busted decks here where they can just ride to grade 3 and then just win right away, or if they don't win right away, they can draw a bunch of cards, right? With Revan and Vanquisher, right?
yeah. Like, in particular with both of those clans, like they can have a strong enough first grade 3 ride to kind of go for the kill, but if they don't go for the kill, they're only going to push them up to 4 or 5 damage by the time the opponent would ride the grade 3, putting them in a really big disadvantage and forcing them to think, okay, I have to drive check a heal trigger to try and heal myself back down to 3, because the aggression just gets insane. Of course, you're going to have some games that's, they're not going to rush you. They'll probably going to do like 1-2 swings just because maybe they open bad. But you're going to have those instances where you get to find yourself at 4 or 5 damage by the time you ride your first grade 3.
Okay, yeah. Do you have any comments on this first week, Chris?
No, it's just like it's crazy to see how much Narukami and Revon are so so popular, so strong, and like Alphonse mentioned, just being able to push your opponent so quickly, so early, and then when you're at 5, you're like, oh crap, like I kind of have to go all in here, and it like puts you in that mindset of like, oh, I gotta overcommit, and then maybe dig yourself into a deeper hole. So I'm excited to see this week 2, which we're gonna go to soon, and like what changes.
And it's not too surprising seeing the top 8 is so dominated when half of the players are playing the deck, So we might see more disparity. And actually, we'll go to week 2 right now. You'll see we'll have 2 Revons, 2 Vanquishers in top 8, and then of course alone it was a great / Blade Master deck, a Claret Sword deck, a Genesis deck, and then DI. Now just remember, this is all before Tri 3, so it's Astral Force and before. There's no trial decks, so just give you that idea. Like what stood out to me is now there's 13 Aquaforce, 15 Vanquisher, and there's like a little bit more players, so now it's a little bit more balanced. Like a third of everybody's Aquaforce or Revan, right? There's a lot more Zoo clans here, as we see, and it's a lot more fun. And Shadow Paladin did really, really well, actually, in this tournament, I was seeing.
Oh, yes. Like, Shadow Paladins, they were definitely a standout just because they're always a consistent top 5. It doesn't matter how relevant or irrelevant it is. There's going to be just a ton of momentum for Shadows. You're always going to have a part of the competitive meta that will main Shadows to the day they die. So seeing Claret Sword make it into top 8, like more power to him. Like I'm not surprised. They are a very fierce deck.
Now, Alphonse, you and I were casting this for about half of it, right? And was there anything that really stuck out to you this tournament when you were watching? Was there anything you liked about that day, or like maybe a certain player or clan?
I think seeing Blade Master come in as a counter to Revon was an interesting tech, because a lot of times with Kagura it's always been like Overlord deck, and seeing the Blade Master just come out of nowhere, now you're putting the Aquaforce player under some pressure, because even if you do have Coral Assault and Borrelia that's just soul charge themselves so you can draw a card, that still leaves open so many other units on the field where, oh my goodness, like I'm going to lose the rest of my field. So even though that I already drew my cards, I'm going to have to commit a lot more to the field than usual. So Blade Master was a very interesting tech in that regard, even though that throughout that game, I see that, wow, there's not much like Blade Master support. If anything, they probably just tech in a few there. So I was very intrigued seeing the Blade Master. That was probably a highlight of seeing that. And also Shadows, just seeing Claire just dig through the whole deck and being able to win before they deck out. That was just insane to me.
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to catch any of the Genesis games, but the Dark Irregulars, there's like 2 people who played Dark Irregulars this tournament. And Notorious HRT, in my mind, he won this tournament, okay? But he got kind of sacked by Saram. Saram would absolutely agree with that, but they both did super well. And it's kind of weird because Shadow Paladin was like on this big, there was only like, there were 7 people playing Shadows, right? Or was it 5?
It was 5.
I'm not great with clan symbols. So there's 5 people playing Shadows, and the interesting about that is that they had a really high win rate for like the first 4 or so games, and then we're like, okay, well, we're gonna watch some of this dark regulars, and you end up facing shadows a lot. And when you're playing Protect against Cleric, it's actually kind of easy, because you can just always PG their Cleric, and also you get to retire any cards that like maybe next turn have Battle Door or any issue cards. And every game I was watching him, he was able to open like a Yellow Bolt, a Killer Tail, and an Emblem Master, basically the nut, as I say, when you're playing Dark Irregulars, right? And so that was really interesting, but it's a super good deck. It's one of my favorite decks at the moment. So,
yeah, I don't personally play Dark Irregulars, but I've had some friends that like really speak highly of the deck. So it's pretty cool to see it get that top 8. I wonder if you guys, you know. Similar thoughts as well.
Oh, 1 second.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Weird dog.
Like this is the first protect deck that was able to crack the top 8, because with the week before this tournament you got just XL and Force, and now you have XL, Force, and 1 protect deck. I know, outside of maybe the beginning with the Q Force set, like OTT was meta for quite some time, but as time went on, and then you got more, pretty synergistic and really deadly cards in both XL and Force, Protect was pretty much kind of bullied out of it, especially after the introduction of Force 2, XL 2, and Protect 2.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
kind of gets the short end of the stick there.
Protect always had a rough end of the stick after a certain point, just because of power creep, and they didn't really get a lot of support. And then Protect 2 didn't really help with that at all. But the thing is that Oracle Think Tank and Angel Feather just kind of fell off the side a little bit, Like Angel Feather, I would never call both those bad decks at all, because I still have like those same cards. You can't exactly get worse, right? But like this, a Dark Regular just got really, really good with their one last set. And so sometimes if it runs well, it deck thins. And I personally still believe that Guard Restrict is one of the better ways to win a game. And yeah, because it's basically your opponent can have like a great hand, but they can't do much because you can't beat Triple Door, right?
Yeah, like the fact that like people would sometimes underestimate the value of being able to say, "Oh, you're guarding from hand. Okay, that means you have to call 3," and then that PG that you dropped, and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm losing 4 cards now."
That also hurts Protect, right? So it kind of beats itself in that way. So
yeah, that's funny.
So this second week, it's a little more diverse, as we're saying, right? But still more or less the same. I hope people still play some more fun decks, some more different decks. But of course, it's pretty dot deck, Nurkami, Aquaforce is super good. Like it's proven, and unfortunately Gear Chronicle did not do very good that the second week. It did really bad.
Even though a lot more seemed to show up.
Yeah, there was a couple more and they did a lot worse, right? But like, I mean, just one tournament. CFA also has some issues, right? People get crashed, and then CFA will have an update in the middle of a tournament. And did you hear about that, Alphonse?
Yeah. There was instance, I think, in between one of the rounds, and then like everybody had an update, and it was tough. But of course, you're gonna encounter shenanigans like this every once in a while.
Hopefully
happens in real life. Happens on. Yeah, exactly. And it's fun having tournaments like this though, because it gives at least people a competitive outlet to go. It may not be the most ideal for some, because some people really do like playing in person. But hey, having an online version of this tournament, amazing.
Yeah, maybe
it's a lot better than not playing it.
Maybe remote fights will be the future. A remote fight tournament. I think that'd be pog. But at the moment, CFA, right? And then now we're just gonna jump into premium. So
before we go into premium, real quick, I'm curious what both of your thoughts are. Do you think we'll be seeing even more Rivon and Narukami in these next 2 weeks? Because people are like, "Oh, I gotta get my invite. I gotta play the best deck. We're running out of time. There's only 2 left." Or do you think they'll stick with some shenanigans like we've seen in week 2?
I think people are more willing to try things that aren't those to get top, right? Trying things that are to beat the top rather than just beat them, because they have to do something a little different. Like if you face, let's say you're playing Nurkami, right? And you're probably going to face another Nurkami eventually, right? Then is it what whoever like goes first? Like you don't want that to happen, right? It's always a big issue in Vanguard, right? If there's one deck, well, there's going to be a deck that's going to try to do something against it, right? It may have a bad matchup against everything else, but hey, it can beat this, right? Like Gear Chronicle actually has a decent matchup into Norikami if they run some spice cards with bind, right? Or they also have stuff that gets rid of their own front row, so it really it makes a little bit of a stink for them, so they can't exactly bind a lot of their own rear guards. So that's like another thing, like why you might see more other decks besides these two, more cards to beat them, for example.
Yeah. I think it was interesting because the thing is, as you know, like we would commentate more, we just see more matches, and people are seeing more plays as to like what an Narukami player would play, and you know, pretty much a meta version of this deck as well as Revon. And then I think you're probably still going to see at least a few of Revon and Vanquisher still make top 8, but then you're going to see more people that are trying to see if they can exploit. If they can exploit at least one, they're good at least for a good portion of the field. And for example, there was a Narukami player that was playing against Bermuda Triangle that was running Pacifica, and Vanquisher activated the skill, but because of Solda that was in the Vanguard booster rearguard circle, that Vanquisher skill can't really go off because Vanquisher can't target the Pacifica that was there. So we thought it was like, oh, it was GG, it was over. But because they called the Gauntlet Buster Dragon, maybe they just called the Gauntlet Buster Dragon and everything would have been solved. But they were able to work around that error by dropping down Cho-Oh because Cho-Oh doesn't target. So
yeah, there's also another grade 2 that doesn't target, I think. So
yeah,
it's all so good.
So trying to find those outs in particular, it was fortunate for the Narukami player to have a Cho-Oh in hand at that time, especially since he was restricted. But now going into it, it's like knowing like, okay, now we found another out. So if the Narukami player would make a mistake, or another clan that could be somewhat viable or something that can take advantage, because that's the key thing. I wouldn't be surprised if the rest of this tournament season we're going to see half of the top 8 become even Narukami, Aquaforce, or a mix of the two. But we're going to see more clans that are seeking to counter those, and so you're going to have a nice even match of like how the decks are going to be resembling the top 8. And even with as more people try and go in and they compete, they can either go one of those two ways. So I'm looking forward to see if either Narukami and Narukami and Aquaforce would include a little bit more tech cards, or we're going to see a lot more of the Roguish decks come in and have just ideal matchups so they can break into the top 8.
Yeah, and also just kind of note, VGS time, he did get second with Narukami, and he had a different build, so he actually ran a couple bit of Gauntlet Busters just for techs. I'm not sure how often he rode them in the game, but people were really being super mean to him, like online. But he got second place, so you can't really be mad at that, right? It's pretty good. Like even the games where he couldn't ride a Vanquisher, he had to ride a Jaggy just because he got a little unlucky, right? So this is how it is. Also, another thing about that is also, if you want to find some of these deck lists, we have some in the Vision Discord. We do now require top 3. Maybe we'll make the top 4. But top 3 deck lists for all of our tournaments. So you can definitely find those on the Vision Cord. And yeah, anything else to say about Standard?
No, good. Excited.
Legit. All right. So Premium. All right, the real game starts. Okay, so as week 1, I'll probably it's gonna be kind of short here. Actually, it might be a long. I was doing it with Deo, commentating on this. I don't know if you guys saw any of this, but as you see, we have every clan's different except for Bermuda has 2 people, and there's only 48 players, so it's a little bit smaller of a tournament compared to the next week we're gonna have. But of course, you see we have 2 Bermuda, Riviere, Hellheart 8, which did win. Neo Nectar busted. We had a Gridora Gize, Jamio Congo, Nubatama, and then Dark Irregulars and Great Nature. I'm not sure what Great Nature build he was exactly running, and that's why we're kind of making people place their deck lists on there, because people are really curious of what's going on, right? Not a lot of people have an idea, especially people are really secretive with their premium deck lists, right? It's actually kind of a funny thing. So
can't give away the text.
Yeah, can't do it. In this tournament, so if you look here, there's actually quite a bit of Neo Nectar, quite a bit of Bermuda. That's like the big 2, and then a lot of Dark Irregulars. And actually, there was a decent amount of spikes. There was a lot of Rush spikes. in there. And for me, I felt like there was a lot of Nubatama, especially the games we were commenting on. It was like randomly a bunch of Nubatama was doing well. And just, I don't know why, just all of a sudden they were showing up on screen, but they were showing up everywhere. They were actually doing pretty well. They have decent matchups and with everything they want to do. A couple of Shadow Paladins, of course, right? But the big thing here was the Riviera engine's super good to Superior Ride into. Really, really, really strong. And then Neo Nectar is pretty much free. And Dark Regulars is Dark Regulars. But Hellheart A ended up actually doing super well because it dodged a lot of its bad matchups like Neo Nectar. And the thing is, if you with Hellheart A, you're pretty much damage denying your opponent unless their strides aren't even that too threatening. You don't really care to give them like 1 or 2 counterblasts. But most of the time, you just completely deny them a counterblast and then go for Hellheart 8, which is pretty freaking strong, apparently. Saram did super well. I think he sacked really hard. Quite a bit again. Like, I'm watching his games, he kept on having tons of jelly beans in hand, tons of ride targets, tons of ways to get heals out of his deck. Super good play from him, to be honest. But also, of course, in any Vanguard game, to get first place. By the way, he did back-to-back. He won this week's standard. Doing really well, of course. He's proven himself to be a pretty good player.
Yeah, because I'm looking at all of this. Yeah.
The double doozy.
Yeah, it's very intriguing too, seeing at least the deck breakdowns, seeing how like mostly you just had 10 Bermuda, 10 Neo Nectar, and 8 I think Dark Irregulars, but with the way that it works out, you can't forget, how Hard 8 is a card. You gotta prepare for that. Can't forget about Giza. Giza is going to creep up on you on that. And then you also got others like Shadows with Luard. With Luard. With Luard, you got random Dimension Police, Power Gain. You got even Victor Nova Grappler, like the one in there. Like, there's a lot of different strategies that not everybody can come in prepared for. So you're going to be taking a gamble.
Is that Dimension Place or was that Link Joker? I can't tell in this.
Oh wait, that's probably Link Joker. That's Link Joker.
Okay, yeah. I mean, wait till next week, right? This next slide. Wait till this next slide.
Yeah, but like I was definitely interested to see how this is going to change over time, because premium, since you're involving the entirety of Cardfight Vanguard back from 2011, including every card just having a ban and restriction list. Like, it's nice when you see all these different decks that can do so well, and it resembles like a pretty diverse meta.
Yeah, like a lot of decks especially can like come out of the woodwork because people, like you said, like they like, oh, I kind of forgot about that, and then they just kind of like come in and sweep. Yeah, and it's good to see like Bermuda doing well with the new support. And especially I think everyone's excited to see how the kind of meta will change and adapt, because this is really the only stuff that we're getting after the ban list, right?
Yeah,
pretty much. I was just like, man, this is going to be a very interesting next few weeks of both premium and standard, because now word's getting out. We want to make sure as many folks can know about what's going on. And seeing these results, like this is good, because this is the closest that we can get to get tournament data and present like, okay, what's working, what is still working, or what's not working anymore.
Yeah, awesome. All right, now I'll just go to week 2. So first of all, we have 74 players, like basically 5 less players than the standard day. I really want to wonder if we if you were to mix standard and premium, like as in standard we go to Sunday and premium goes to Saturday, if we'd have like even more people. I feel like premium's getting pretty popular right now, especially on CFA, right?
Yes.
I feel like there's never anybody who's like, oh, they only play standard on CFA, right? They play both. That's just me. Anyway, so I of course commentated on this like all day with Chris did more than me. So
just a little bit,
just a bit, yeah, just like another few hours.
Pretty much the whole way, yeah.
So that was great. Chris, did you have anything that kind of surprised you of this day, or something that was just a little different compared to last week?
Well, like one of the things is like Neo Nectar, like dropped totally off the board. Like I kind of Bermuda too. Like they went from 10 entrants both to like 5 and 4, right? Like, people were like, this is not working for me.
Yeah, even with more players entering too, there was actually less people playing the deck, right?
Yeah. Other than that, I don't know. I mean, obviously, I think the stories of the day, for me at least, were the Kagero and Shadow Paladin.
Hmm.
And Grand Blue showing up is pretty cool because, like, was second place at Worlds, right?
Yeah,
I
and
feel like
then
we say that all the time.
it
but
was
like,
pretty sleeper
we know
before
it's gonna
that
be
too,
good.
and people are still like,
True.
"It's still sleeper, bro." Like,
True.
when is it gonna wake up? It's good.
Yeah, so they woke up a little this week, so that's cool to see.
Yeah. So a lot of things too. There's also a couple Nurikamis in here and one Murakumo. So the Nurakami is basically Vanquisher Standard Plus. Now it seems that people are kind of going toward these more Standard Plus decks, like Tachikaze was pretty much Standard Plus, right? Clarets, I mean, it's still more Fessa, so it's not really Standard Plus. And Grand Blue is not Standard Plus. No, yeah, it's mostly just Nurakami as a more Standard Plus. It's doing pretty well actually. Not great on the day, but I saw it in general. And there's also some other notable decks here. Is that there was 5 Link Joker, and most of them didn't do too well.
It's not a good day for Link Joker.
Yeah, and I think they had a lot of good matches. But the thing is, a lot of people were probably preparing to face, probably the more meta decks. Mm-hmm. And then when they don't face those meta decks and have their sort of gimmick to beat them, they just face something that's like a real deck, and they're just like, oh, now I'm just probably going to lose because my gimmick doesn't work against you, right? I'm assuming, like, let's say Link Joker has gimmicks against, Dark Irregulars, they can really mess with their board and they pretty much ruin their whole game. But if they don't face them because there's not enough of them, right, then there's a bit of an issue. But, of course, it's also the players. There was also a really big issue with CFA. They had So in the middle of the tournament, they decided to do an update. It was almost the end of a round, so some people already got their game done, but you had to be really fast to get that done. And so, yeah, people had to go in, redo their re-update it, reinstall it. I'm sure some people just fell off the earth and quit. But
yeah,
I think we still had quite a bit of people come back, still play. It was still a fun day for the rest of the day. And hopefully no one changed their decks to have try 3. So yeah.
Is that, Alphonsus, was there anything that kind of stands out to you that you're like, what's going on there when you see this?
Yeah, I was thinking, look at the random Anger Blader and the Pale Moon deck. Anger Blader Standard Plus, have you guys comment? I haven't watched the VOD, but how are their matches?
Chris, do you want to go over that? Yeah, it's actually really good.
Yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, you asked me earlier, Sage. I totally forgot about Pale Moon because that was another huge thing that was crazy that day.
Yeah.
But we'll start with Anger Blader. I mean, it's basically Standard Plus. You kind of just do really solid early game stuff, building up a ton of those equip gauges, and then he can convert that into huge Anger Blader plays or the stride that restands without losing drive checks. So
yeah,
it's a pretty good deal.
So the stride Alphonse is when it attacks, if you're engorged, you can get rid of 5 equip gauges and rear guards, any combination of them, right? And you can restand it, and it doesn't lose drives, right? So the play is to attack with your rear guards and then eat them, right? And equip gauges to restand it. And you're also running stand triggers, so you can restand your rear guards that are your big ones. And it's actually, and you make your hand back. A small issue is actually decking out, but it also plays a really good grade 2 game. It was actually really good before. It just was kind of outpaced a little bit by Ezel. And it's not free as compared to Neo Nectar. I mean, it's still pretty free. You can't really damage the Nai Tachikaze. And they also have a good grade. If you want to play the grade 2 game against them, they can write up the Anger Blader and then Anger Blader you. But most of the time they run 2 Anger Bladers, really. Everything else is just to make equip gauges. So it actually was really, really fun to watch. That was one of my favorite moments of the day. Mostly Acrealis, he was playing that.
Yeah. That was super cool.
And then, do you want to go into the Pale Moon too?
Sure. Yeah.
that was
crazy.
Wild.
Yeah. That deck was wild. We saw a few games of it. So basically, it wasn't your typical Songster loop. I think everyone knows that loop where you get the Cray Elementals face up, and then you unflip a lot with Tier, and you just attack. So this one was the Alice loop, where you attack with Alice. You use a skill. It goes into Soul. You bring the grade 2 that can call Alice back out. So it does cost Counterblast. You don't have unflip, so it's not infinite or anything. But the key part is an old nightmare doll called Leslie, which lets you restand it every time Alice comes out of Soul. So it's like it was like intended to be a booster, right? But if you just put it on like an Excel circle, you can just keep smacking away.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so basically you get 2 attacks for every counterblast, and you stack crits on it too.
Yeah,
right.
You just throw all your triggers.
You're
on
just
there,
Nova Grapplering it. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Oh my god.
It's pretty dirty. But that deck was so cool to watch. Who was it? Platinum, right?
Yeah,
was playing it. Oh, and I think I saw at least 2 games. He won a different way each time. It was
crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like he's got like so many ways to adapt to situations. Like he does do the damage deny strategy. He's got like the 7Ks, the 8K grade 2s that he needs to do that, and then he can like pop off. The first one was so cool. Yeah, because you're like, oh crap, it's a combo deck, it's a multi-attack deck. He's playing against Dark Irregulars. Okay. So Dark Irregulars was like, oh, I'm gonna I'm doing my combo, and then I'll end on Rhodia, so I have big boy power, right?
Yeah, big base numbers.
Yeah, big base numbers, so it's gonna be hard to hit. And then Platinum at his Pale Moon, he just dust. So that's in the grade 1, takes the skill away, and then just does the loop on him because it's like he doesn't need Songster Vanguard, right? It's just the rear guards.
Oh and my god,
loops him, and I was like, wow.
Yeah, we were like, no way, Dust in 2020? No, this is so good.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Especially when he's just set the power to 1. Oh my god.
Yeah, because he was at 26k base. So I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be really hard for him to like beat this. If he hits a trigger, he might be just fine. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Dust. We're like, oh yeah, it's over. That was good. That was a good plot twist.
That was pretty cool.
All right. Man.
So the second time he won too was super cool because we were like, oh, is he gonna dust him again? And then he didn't. He went for this other stride that I've like I've barely seen.
Yeah.
Even in playing through all of G.
All right.
And basically it lets you give your rear guard like can't be targeted by any skills, like yours or your opponent's. So like I guess it's good for like Kagura where like they might denial grip in that.
Oh,
you can be like, nah, I'm just gonna keep going.
Mm-hmm.
But it also gives it plus 10k in a crit.
And so plus like, he can give sweet. Plus 5k for every 2 Soul Blast, right? So
yeah. And then it was like, oh, and it gives it a skill if you like Soul Blast 2, it gives it plus 5k. And then so we're like, oh, that seems pretty good. And then he just starts like showing all his soul in the Guardian Circle, like he's Soul Blasting. I was like, what is he doing?
Yeah, he like Soul Blasted 12
or something.
Yeah,
and then he Soul Blasted 16.
Oh yeah,
and gave that rear guard like what's that plus.
It was like 67. It was like 67k. Yeah, with crit.
With a crit, and then just started restanding it. And I was like, I'm so sorry for your opponent. It was bad.
Yeah, get styled on.
Cool. This day of premium was like so sweet.
Yeah, like Ran the Joker. What I don't know how like finals went. I know it was like it took for a while, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Platinum, he hit basically top 4, but he was 6-0, and he's like, okay, I'm going to bed. I have my top 8 invite. And we did like our other extra stuff, so we put somebody else, the 5th place in, right, to play, who actually was OES, who got 2nd place in this whole thing, right? But yeah, in my mind, this Pale Moon player won the tournament. But it's kind of also he won too, because Pale Moon players he's trying to hide his deck list. Okay, it's great. Actually, I asked for his deck list very nicely. He gave it to me, but I'm not giving it to anybody because he asked me to. So I just thought it was really cool, right? If you go to our stream, you can probably like guess what the hell it is.
You can probably piece it together.
You can probably piece it together. But I think the biggest thing that blew my mind, we're talking about these cards right now. Was this Kagura day, right? So
that's like what's cool.
Because I know Denial Griffin's really busted, but there's these cards you were telling me about in the middle that was Hulk Roar Dragon and then a Belog and an Aethionic. I don't know this Aethionic. Do you want to explain to me, Chris?
Okay. So this is actually kind of like a throwback deck for me. Like this, people were playing this kind of deck when these cards came out. It was like it's called Hand Trap Kagura, and like we could still call it now because it's very apt.
All right.
The first one is obviously Denial Griffin. We all know that.
Yeah.
And then the second one is this card called Belog. So it is basically it's a grade 1. When you guard with it, it gives your Vanguard a skill. If the attack misses, then you can retire something that's rested.
Yeah.
So that gives you 2 ways to retire something on your opponent's turn. And then it all comes together when you get Hulk Roar Dragon. Oh, that big boy. And if you look at this card, you'd be like, oh, that card's doo-doo.
It's bad, yeah.
That card's doo-doo. Counterblast 2 to retire a unit. Oh, no, get that out of here. But it's an auto effect,
Mm-hmm.
which activates whenever you retire a unit.
Mm-hmm.
So you combo it with Denial Griffin or Belog to do a full front row or hit 2 front rows, retires on your opponent's turn. Because you, boom, retire with Denial Griffin, and then the auto of Hulkroar activates on your opponent's turn, counterblast you, retire another unit.
Mm-hmm.
So you can hit both of the front row in 1 turn.
Yeah. The biggest problem is it costs 3 counterblast, but there's like grade 1 that's like shoving the soul when other rear guards retired, opponent's rear guards retired, you can countercharge 2, basically.
Yeah.
Which is like, this is busted. And you could just throw this Hulkroar dragon in the back row too.
Yeah.
It's just like the economy is good, and man, dude, I remember back then when Belog was teched and like teched way back when, and so I'm always like, oh god, it's gonna hit. Oh god, I lose my grade 1. Oh no, and here Belog coming in again, and like, damn, the hand traps are going in.
Mm-hmm. Now, the unfortunate thing for Abrar, his deck was very the X reliant for a finisher. I mean, I feel like most of them are, but some go with a pure dungeon strategy, or the X is like also probably the better one. But if they can't get the X, they can just go into dungeon and just swing for game. Because there was Kagura was the most played deck that day with Dark Irregulars, but Abrar kind of just stood out compared to everything else. I don't really know what all his matchups were, but it didn't seem like he dodged anything like too crazy. He had to still play premium, and that's the thing with Kagro. Actually, Kagro's the most Vanguard-esque desk to me in premium, because it actually forces your opponent to actually play normal Vanguard. They can't just do busted shenanigans. They have to actually play around what the hell you got, right? And it's a big poker face deck. It's kind of weird when you're playing online, because then you have no idea, but in person you have to you do a big poker face to your opponent, and they're like do you have a G guard? It's like go fish, I guess, right? So you play this little game with Kagro. That's the really fun thing. And then the other thing was Let's Go Messiah. My friend Hal, he ended up playing Claret, right? And like most decks were playing Luard for Shadow, and I think most people would say, oh, Luard's just a better stride. You get a lot more combos off, a lot more busted things, a lot more consistent. But he was running Claret because he was kind of abusing Force 2 with Morfessa. And it's really, really annoying when you got 3 damage and you swing for that a couple times and your opponent has to like deal with it. It was actually super, super fun to watch that. And he would never use Claret's skill on the first ride. He waits for the Morfessa because and it also accelerates your drop zone, so you can guarantee that you'll get Ritual 10. It's not that hard to get Ritual 10, especially with Luard, but realistically, sometimes you might brick. And so in this scenario, you're not doing that at all. You're just going with Claret.
Yeah, I never saw Let's Go Messiah like brick, like miss at all. It was like mill. Okay, got it. But like I've definitely seen like Luard decks brick on that first ride, or they're like, if you need to do it, you're like dumping cards out of your hand because you're just like, I need to call over things and whatnot. Like, I never saw that from Let's Go Messiah. It was just like, mill it all, and I got it. It was super cool.
Yeah.
He actually, I think you might have, I don't know if he stepped out. Say he won some games on Claret. It was wild.
He did. Okay.
Yeah. It was like against, Oh Yes, I think in the top. It was like the last game where you stepped out, and like they were like they both kind of like ran at and it was like at least I got Claret.
Like he was doing Morfessa, and then he ran out of Stride Fodder maybe, and then he had to go with
like Oh Yes pushed back and he like barely lived, and he had to top deck. He didn't top deck a Stride Fodder, so he had to like Claret sword him, and then like. And then like Oh Yes, like 6 damage healed or something, and then he like had something, but then somehow Let's Go. It was crazy. You should watch the VODs on that last match.
Okay,
I don't even remember what happened.
Maybe I should.
It was just too wild.
If I have 10 years, I'll go do it. You know.
10 years later, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
That was a fun match.
It actually brings up another topic. Is there anything else we want to talk about with premium in general? With these past 2 weeks, or maybe future.
It's getting hype. It's getting hyper. God, like seeing all these new ideas now coming in, man, this is all going to translate into the paper tournaments once, I think get better.
Yeah.
Like,
I think premium's only gonna get like more wild because it's like weird because like with standard, it's like you've got your 2 decks, but with premium, I feel like new stuff just keeps like coming out. out of like nowhere.
Mhm.
And so I'm sure people are going to be trying out Claret Sword next week. I'm sure people are going to be trying out Hand Trap Kagro. I know someone's like in the Pale Moon and the Tachikaze, like people are going to want to try that. Like that looked cool. I want to try that. So I feel like it's just going to spread out even more. It's going to be wild.
Okay, awesome. And okay, cool. I wanted to also talk about a little bit of just the actual CFA tournaments in general. Sure. And maybe just some things to notice, like as a commentator, that would probably make it a little bit more fun people to watch or even commentate, right? Because, it's maybe a little bit problem with Vanguard in general, okay? But I also just wanted to give a couple tips to people out there because there is issues with all this. And so basically what I'm going into is that right now, it just feels really slow. And I wish we kind of people keep themselves more like on a time basis because we're going to be starting actually soon, really enforcing time, and because this has actually become a big issue with people taking too long. So number one, when the tournaments start, right, just go right away to your match. And remember, these tournaments are for fun. Like, I know there's like qualifying, there's a few things on the line, but your money's not really on the line, right? But go to have fun. Don't take it like absolutely too seriously. Like, I if you want to be competitive out there, that's super great. Remember, this is mostly for fun, right? And it's cool if you want to make a name for yourself and do well, but just remember that's what it is first, right? So a couple things to help kind of speed that up was number one, if you want to if you can, not everyone can do this. You can get to like a voice comm with your opponent to maybe make the match a little more smoother. Instead of like typing in chat, you can just say, "Oh, I'm gonna guard this," or to fix any issues, right? Or if I'm going to like no guard it or mulligan, whatever. Maybe you can have fun with your opponent too, like you actually do in real life. You'll have fun with your opponent on comms.
Yeah.
So
that's a great idea.
Yeah, there's that. Yeah. And then I guess it's just playing maybe just a little faster. I'm not saying but maybe not play fast because of that, but maybe just practice a couple more times on CFA to get used to CFA. I'm sure a lot of people, they're picking up CFA recently because all this crazy stuff going on, and they haven't really done too many games, right? You can always go into Vision Discord to see if there's anybody who wants to practice some games, right? And get you an easier use of CFA, so when you actually go to a tournament, you have a little bit less issues.
Yeah. I echo a lot of the things, Sage, you said, because time is always going to be an issue, at least especially with CFA. It's ways to help cut down on the time will help not only the tournament go faster, but also helps out with fatigue as well, because the sooner that people get out of a tournament, the sooner they can have like some chance to relax and such. And this is not only going for yourself, but also for your fellow players on different time zones. So especially now that we're getting to the later parts of the day, at least on Pacific in like America. So it's like 4 hours later this upcoming weekend, and 4 hours later for the final qualifying weekend. Yeah. So any type of way to help on saving time, like, it's definitely welcome. And moving into just the practice aspect of it, it took a while for some folks just to get used to how they were going to download the game, just because of the website and trying to navigate through, like, okay, the full link is here, and like, oh, here's your alternative link. But then when you go in and actually play the game, like, it's a really good way to just get through the motions of like what happens when you properly call rear guard, what happens when you you press this, don't shuffle the deck accidentally, all that type of stuff. Like, getting in that practice now, it helps a lot, especially for not only these tournaments, but especially when you go into real life, because it gives you those mental checks of saying like, all right, I remember how this skill activated, but I'm not supposed to shuffle the deck. Okay, I just shuffle whatever I have, and of like the top 5 checks, shuffle them to the bottom or stuff like that. Because by learning how the game works and knowing how it is, not only are you learning how to be a little bit more patient with just like, okay, make sure I know what to do when I'm going through it, but also it helps translate that to real life so you don't end up making those mistakes as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Do you have anything you want to say about this sort of thing, Chris? Or...
No, just definitely echo. Playing a little bit faster, like Sage said, these are games for fun. You don't need to spend like 10 minutes just to decide what you're gonna stride. I know it's very important, and like some people, they really get into it, they really want to do well, but think a little bit about your opponent as well. Like, they don't really want to sit there and wait for you to make those super long decisions.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. And hopefully with that, maybe games will continually be good to watch, right? And only get
Good
better.
to watch and good to play, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Especially as we get more stuff for Tri 3, maybe coming the next season, right?
Yeah.
So that'll be super fun with that too, seeing that. I'm actually really excited to see a lot of Tri 3 stuff. And actually, with that, I'd like to go into some reveals for the next thing. So we're doing a little transition here. And we're back. So we just wanted to go into some reveals, maybe just our initial thoughts. I'm sure a lot of people watch YouTubers that actually go over these cards and kind of talk about all their interesting things about them, but we'll just give like sort of our little ideal thoughts because I think it's kind of a neat thing to talk about, right? So number one, we have this first card, which is Storm Element Cyclone, the Cray Elemental Grade 4 Stride, which is they try to make this card as boring as possible. I feel like that's what they try to go for, even worse. So during your turn, this card's face up. All your units with no continuous act or auto abilities all get 5k power. And when you drive check, it reveals a unit of those sorts of qualities. During the battle, this unit attack, you can stand one of your other rear guards.
This was like the biggest letdown for me.
Yeah,
I was like so excited. They like have it on the cover art. You know what I mean? And then they're like, "Oh, it's gonna be its own new type of deck."
Gize
like,
2.0.
"Oh snap! It's gonna be like a new Gize, maybe a new win condition." And then it's like, if your deck's all vanilla, this card still sucks.
Or token.
Yeah. Or just flip this and give all your tokens 5k power. That's
or you're just Katrina.
Yeah. So
right?
yeah, pretty much Neo Nectar is only getting this for support, so we'll see how that goes for it.
I will say though, there are. It seems like all the Cray Elementals left in the set will be some attempt to buff this card. So I'm kind of holding out. Potentially there is something that's like, I don't know, continuous. All your units lose their effects or something like that. Mm-hmm. All your rear guards have no effects.
Actually, that's interesting. Yeah,
make it usable.
They did also introduce a new grade 1 as well. It's a Cray Elemental grade 1, so you can use it in any clan, and it's an 8k power, 15k shield. So another 15k shield. So if you weren't already super into Mega Colony running 2 of these kind of cards, now you have 3, right? It's 15k shield grade 1s. So
that's a lot of shield.
That's a lot of shield, baby. That's a lot of shield, right? But it's bigger base now. So you're harder to hit on grade 1, which absolutely almost never matters. Because you actually almost want smaller grade 1s so you can swing under and damage deny, because that's what you kind of want to do. But I guess with Gize, maybe you don't. But this isn't meant for Gize. It's meant for something else, right? Yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's anything else
for the vanilla. Yeah, there's not much else to say. Yeah. It's great with blind tokens, and maybe they'll bring out something crazy that makes this actually cool.
Mm-hmm. And we're kind of going a little bit out of order here, but we'll go into Kagura right now. Supreme Heavily Emperor Dragon, Zanbush Dragon. I think it was our very first reveal, actually.
It was.
From Kai, WCC. And, I mean, it's pretty good. Right? It lets you hit Blaze if you need to hit Blaze on your next turn. Like, even that's really hard to actually get Blaze. So turn a card face up from your G zone and retire all your punch rear guards. Gets 10k to all your grade 3s. Oof. Yeah.
It's definitely board wipe, free board wipe. There's nothing stopping you from doing it, which is great. I think I don't know. It's just solid. There's not like nothing fancy. Just pretty good.
Mm-hmm. I hope we get something from the next standard set that also kind of works with this, right? Because we're gonna get more Blade Master stuff. And hopefully they have cards that kind of work, a little bit better. So you don't even really need your grade 3. You can just stride into this instead. So
yeah, I would be interested. Like, one of the things that's kind of interesting about this is that it gives all your grade 3 or greater units plus 10k. So there's potential there for like maybe some grade 3 shenanigans. I don't really know of any off the top of my head. I don't know if there are any.
Draconic Overlord. That's the only one. Yeah.
No. There actually is. There's Spherical Lord Dragon, I think maybe no, I think he just gets 5k. I feel like there has to be a rear guard that restands when your Overload attacks. But
okay.
Oh, there's the
Then-
Neo Flame.
That's great too.
It's a great 2 though.
Oh, that's
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like, and maybe in the future, like with the new set, something could take advantage of that grade 3 power, but it's still good. Still good, pretty solid.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Sweet. And then we'll go into probably one of the funner cards, I think, right? Or the unfun card. So we have Nebula Dragon, Voriend Dragon. So super cool art, by the way. I love all this art, right? Cool flavor text. So it's a Link Joker card, and it's you stride it, and the skill is it's basically free. Turn a card when placed. You turn a card face up from your G zone, and then remove all your opponent's markers, circles, and all the protects from their hand. And every one they remove, it gets 10k in a crit. So, I mean, if you're playing Luard, you don't care about this card. But if you're playing like Blasters, you might care about this card because they get rid of all your force markers.
Yeah.
Or Gold Paladin gets rid of a couple of your Excel markers because of your superior rides. So, yeah. I mean, not the card they wanted, but it's definitely a decent card, right? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty decent. I like how Link Joker is being the kind of like reversing everything from like when Brant was released that reverse triggers to now we have something that reverses technically time by getting rid of all the markers. Like Genesis Standard would be devastated. They're like, oh, look at all the 5 of those force markers, you're all dead. Or it's just like Axel, like, oh man, I managed to get like 3 XL circles, they're all gone. Or you just kind of like just swap out like all these protect markers and like I just eliminated 3 cards from your hand for free, and so you gotta have another Sentinel in hand. So this one's a nice kind of safety valve from to keep decks that like to spam markers from going in, like say with Bermuda Triangle, if they rewrite Riviere, say, oh look, those 2 force 2 markers, they're gonna be going away. Or just with how do I say this? Like any other decks that can spam it. This is where Variant Dragon comes in because it's just a really solid card for just that type of safety valve.
Yeah,
it's really funny you mentioned Genesis because it was actually doing like pretty mediocre. I don't know mediocre. It was doing decent in this week's premium tournament.
Yeah.
Just like spamming markers and then hitting Valkyrian with stands. So like it's not irrelevant.
Yeah,
it's like,
and hopefully Genesis gets something like that too, so you can be like an Astropote, so you can do Valkyrian shenanigans too. So this is gonna do wonders. And there's a lot of Link Joker fans out there, man.
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah.
I'm so glad it's not more Locke. I'm so tired of
Locke. Locke is the ultimate safety valve because it just rips apart like so many aggro decks. Like, Neos would be gone. Like Hell Hard 8 would be like, I can't attack. Like,
Neos is weird because plant tokens can't get locked. They just like poof.
Yeah, they poof.
Actually, I think they can go face down, right? But when they unlock, they
can't even go face down.
They can't go face down?
They just
it's just a card. Okay. I wonder what the ruling about this is.
I'm pretty sure they just go away and then you're like, okay, you did nothing to me. And
all right. I want to ask that in a rulings channel because I'm curious, but I'm not sure if it's never come up for me. Right? Yeah. But I'm just curious, right? All right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. Well, it seems like a pretty interesting card, right? And then also revealed with that is the new best clan, Mirakumo, right? So Ambush, Demon, Stealth, Beast, New Dao. Actually, how do you pronounce this last word?
New Dao.
New Dao, yeah.
New Dao. Thank you. All right. I'll just butcher that. Okay, so its skill is it's an act from the G zone, so you can stride during the main phase, right? And it's just Soul Blast 1 flip. As long as you have 5 more units with the same card name as your Vanguard, and your Vanguard has to be grade 3, so you can't just have like a bunch of million rats and like a Metamorphox, right?
A bunch of million rats would be so funny.
Metamorphox, right? You can't just stride during grade 1. So you can stride it, and then during the battle attack, they have to call 5 cards from Can to Guardian Circle if they want to guard it. So it's either a G guard or a no guard. I see this card being a thing, right? Yeah. And then also its other skills, when it attacks, you flip a card face up and you stand all your rear guards with the same card name as your Vanguard, right? As one of your rear guards. So it's a multi-attacking on top of probably getting big numbers because you're probably running Hayaki Vogue with Hyuga. It's basically a Hyuga deck. Yeah, but the biggest problem with this card is, and Mirakumo in general is, you don't run Bobo because you're not gonna hit GB with unless you stride to begin with, right? So if you get damage denied, you're actually just boring. You don't do anything, right? That's a frustrating thing to worry about. I've talked to some people like, what if you just do Mandala Lord decks and Metamorphox and Hyuga, right? So then what if you just have like all these Metamorphoxes and and the Grade 2 and the Mandala Lords, and you just spam those out and you could stride for basically free. Not sure if that's good, but anyway, it's better than it was because Mirakuma was pretty much absolutely irrelevant in premium except for the deck, right?
Yeah. I've been dancing because it's like my favorite clan. You see me dancing in the backgrounds because I'm super happy we finally got like a good first stride, which is like one of the main things missing in my opinion. Oh, go ahead, Alphonse.
So how consistent can this stride go off?
If you ride Hyuga, it's pretty easy.
Yeah, if you ride Hyuga, you have 1 counterblast and 4 rear guards. That's it.
Oh wow.
That's all you need it for to go off. To be good though, you might want to give your front row 10k power, maybe 5k power. Miyomaru is gonna go back up in price, right? Hyugas have already gone up in price because of this card, right? So
you actually only need 3 units. I gotta correct you there.
Oh really? Because it says if you have 5 or more units of the same card,
so you need 3 rear guards. Because you got Hyuga's your 1 unit.
Yeah, and then
you
4 other ones. And then 4 other ones, yeah.
No, 3 rear guards, and then use Hyuga's skill. You call the 4th one.
Well, that's fair. Yeah.
And the 5th one.
Yeah.
Oh, it's exciting. Damage deny is a thing. I've been really thinking about that. Like you mentioned it, because it's like, you're not strides, you can't Bobo it out
unless you stride already. Yeah.
Yeah, unless you stride already, and then you're not at grade 3.
Yeah, but how many dex damage deny you? Like a third? Right?
Not that many. I'd expect it becomes more common.
Yeah,
soon.
Especially with these busted stuff going out. That's so. Everything is kind of free, but this isn't. And so I'm assuming a lot of decks that do really well, even decks that want to push you, they might look at you like, "Oh, you're playing Mirakumo. That's busted. I'm not going to attack you until I'm ready."
Yeah,
because they're pretty vanilla before that.
Which is actually like really bad because I'm going to give away my Mirakumo secrets. They have trash defense.
They have the worst G-guards
I have the worst G-guards in the game. So like
Cray Elementals are better than that. Yeah,
it's really bad. It's really,
oh my god.
It's really sad. The most excitement was when V series came and we have 10k shield grade 1s because all the G guards move grade 1s into the guardian circle from your field. I'm like, oh, that's a G guard buff.
Wow.
So yeah, it's not a good time.
Yeah, but it looks like it's gonna be a decent time for Mirakumo, or maybe he'll be in limbo again. I don't know. We'll see.
It's definitely moving up. It's gonna be a question mark how far, right?
Yeah. Maybe not S tier, but definitely not F tier.
Oh yeah.
Sweet. And then we'll go into Interdimensional Dragon, Go Grok Dragon, right? So Mr. Time Leap revealed this one. I don't know if you guys know much about our friend in Vanguard Insider. I've never talked to him, but I love his videos, to be honest. So his skill is at the end of the battle attacks, you can counterblast 1, bind 4 of your rear guards, and then you put it into your G zone, switch your deck up for 1 grade 3 or greater card, and you ride it, and it gets -1 drive until the end of the turn, and shuffle your deck. And then the big thing about this card, it's a Gear Dragon, so it works with Gear Groovy, because Gear Groovy can copy those skills. So there's a lot of crazy things that go on when you do cards like this, right? You can stride basically into next stage. People were pretty much thinking of this, or because you're binding, you can go into Mystery Flare and get a double turn, but you're losing a lot of rear guards. So is that even worth it, right?
So just to touch on the Mystery Flare thing before we talk about all the crazy things that you could do with this, I think it was Can You Say G? I think he tweeted or posted something. So there's the OG Chronojan. When it gets bound, which is supposed to work with Time Leap, when it gets bound, you put it into the soul instead. Call Chronojet to rear guard, and end of turn it goes back to hand.
Yeah.
So if you grog, you bind it, put it into soul, get a Chronojet, and then end of turn you can discard your hand for Mystery Flare, and then add the Chronojet back, so you have stride for your next turn.
Oh wow. Okay, so and you also have cards to attack with on your double turn. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, well, I don't know how many cards you'd have attack with, but you could at least stride, and then you could maybe stride into something that gives you.
Yeah. What if you had multiple of those and you're just you bind them and you basically recall them?
Like, yeah, you could just go.
Yeah, I hope you have enough to bind to hit double turn. I'm assuming they're not, because that's actually it's a hard condition to meet, right? Gize pretty much fixed that condition, but this kind of adds to that. But now it's like super weak. So it's really strange, but I'm not sure. I'm not a big gearhead, right? So I don't know all of these things going on, but I really want to see it, right? Yeah. So that I can learn from it. Because I love Gear Chronicle in Standard, but I have absolutely no idea what its potential is in Premium. So, and it's a high potential, right? But
it's definitely really high.
Yeah.
Limit to break.
Like restanding or like superior, like multi Vanguard attacking strides, whether they stay on the stride or they go back to a grade 3, they are pretty damn deadly. Yeah. Like there's a lot of games that end just because like I can't guard both of these attacks. I have to take one.
And the idea with this is I think what most people are looking at with next stage in this, you go into next stage, and then you go into Chronojet. So you're getting a lot of drive checks. Because you get triple drive and then single drive and then twin drive. So yeah,
that's crazy.
That's you basically refill your hand back up, but you lose like pretty much your whole field. But what's that? That's no big deal, right? What's a field to Gear Chronicle? They just time leap it anyway. So it's super cool. I can't wait to see that. You guys ready for the next one? Our last one, the one that came out today.
Oh, April 14th. What was our review?
It was Royal Paladin. Holy Dragon, Crustalusta Dragon. Well, I actually really like this name, Crystalusta Dragon. Whoops.
Crystalusta.
Yeah, Crystalusta. Wow. Okay. And its skill, it has 2 skills, but I'll talk about its first skill. It's cost. You just turn a card from your G-Zone face up, and at the end of the turn, this unit and all until the end of the turn, this unit gets all the original abilities of one of your Hearts cards, right? So maybe if you're playing Thing Saver, right, because you have a Legion, you'll be 2. You pick one, right? And then the other skill, probably the better one, is GB3. So you can't do this on first stride unless you get like a G guard in. If you have 3 or more grade 2 or greater units, when your opponent would call from his or her hand, a Guardian Circle here, or she must call 3 or more at the same time. So for some clans, they don't care too much about this other one because they can G-Guard and then maybe even get rid of their grade 2s and grade 3s like Kagero. But most of the time, you're gonna be dealing with this whole awesome hard leg skill, right? Which is gonna be super difficult. So this opened up basically everything for Royal Paladin. So all their grade 3s that are actually pretty damn good just got like 10 times better, right? So there's things like Gancelot, Messianic, Alfred, and Thing Saver, basically. People are looking.
There's a lot of deadly grade 3s and grade 4s that can have the original hard abilities to give the Crystalusta Dragon. The possibilities are endless, especially with like when you're considering Alt Mile, a new Alt Mile.
Oh yeah,
or
I forgot Alt Mile. Yeah.
There's a lot of awesome things that can come from Crystalusta Dragon, and being able to access the hard cards, it helps keep the premium grade 3s in line, as well as, oh wow, I can actually use this. Like, who knew that a strike could just say, I'm going to form Legion with Thing Saver Dragon. Hey, I'm going to add an extra 9k onto my Vanguard's power, and then even get a superior ride afterwards. There's a lot of good things that have been brought up with Crystalusta Dragon, and I'm looking forward to see what crazy combos can be made with this stride, because this is very, very promising.
This is going to be a fun one, for sure.
Yeah, is there anything you're looking forward to with this one, particularly?
I'll tell you guys my secret anti-damage denier combo. Okay.
So, Messianic?
No.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Anti-damage denier. Anti-damage denier.
Okay. We're ready.
Messianic works, so you don't need counterblast, right? But if you need counterblast, what you do is you ride Trial Deck Alt Mile, the new Trial Deck Alt Mile.
Okay.
You just ride this guy, and you give him all the effects, and you call one Bobo.
Because you can pick it up and put it into your hand, right?
Yeah, you call one Bobo, and then you get your one counterblast, use the TD, and then you grab 2 more Bobos out of the, and it goes to your hand, so you can play them and get 3 counter blasts.
But what is the counterblast giving you in this scenario?
I don't know. I haven't figured that out.
Okay, yeah. But hey,
we're halfway there.
But it deals with damage denial a little bit. Okay, yeah, that's good.
You got 3 counter blasts to work with, though. That's the important part.
Yeah, in case you need to go into and place down some pink flogels. Yeah. So
yes,
just in case.
That's the thing is that's like the best case scenario for this GB3 skill because you can if you're able to multi-attack. It's absolutely hilarious because they have the battle doors. I mean, triple doors forever, right? So
yeah,
yep.
I think people are going to try to make a lot of like fake Morfessa with Divine Arrow Knight Alt Mile, giving your grade 2s crit and power, and then having the GB3. So you're like,
going Force 2? While going Force 2? Yeah. Yeah.
Got to.
Yeah, Ghetto Morfessa. Actually, almost a better Morfessa, but a slower Morfessa, right?
Yeah.
But my favorite thing, I was thinking, and I saw a little bit today, and it's Messianic, because there's so many blast units in Premium, and it's already like not like the worst thing ever, but now you add this on, it becomes really annoying to Perfect Guard, and it's, I mean, to G-Guard this, you basically have to throw down 3 G-Guards, right? If you want to, because nothing really gets that much shield, right? Because you're hitting for like 70k, usually around there. So nothing, you can't really, what 2 G-Guards can get there? I guess some can, but without CB, right? It's kind of hard. Even like some really big shield G-Guards, thank God we don't have Ellie anymore. But yeah, I don't know, super fun. I'm really looking forward to this one. It actually makes Royal Rules relevant again, right? So actually, I'm liking that all these decks are kind of just, all these make a lot of things relevant again.
For sure,
right? And my brother's he'll love Thing Saver with this. I think it's what he's gonna be doing.
Yeah. So many people have been waiting for the Thing Saver come back. Like every time, it's like, oh, can I bring Thing Saver back?
Yeah,
and this one is finally the one that does it.
It was such a meme.
Yeah,
but it's still like a lively meme. It's a lively goddamn meme that's just like, it's never gonna die. It's never gonna die.
Yeah, I think actually people are also asking about Soul Saver. We all forget about this one card Soul Savers. Maybe Soul Saver was also kind of an option because you could Soul Blast and get a bunch of power. But I mean, is that powerful? I don't know, right?
If you can bust out multi attacks, I think that's where you want to be at.
Sure, yeah. So just Pink Flogel and you're good, right? So Pink Flogel.
I'd love to see something like this. I mean, not about this Royals, but I'd love to see something like this in Genesis so they can bring the Astral Poets out that we kind of like touched on earlier.
Yeah.
That'd be...
Doesn't it use... I think it's just weird. Like, yeah. Maybe it'll be like get the skill of your Vanguard, but I feel like it's already like this. This already has that, right? So maybe it needs something a little different. But hopefully it has more things that interact with the V units, not just like, more Luard support. Please just give us some Claret support. Give Murakami like Vanquisher stuff.
I feel like they've been doing the best thing about this premium collection is they've really like every stride does kind of work with the V support. It's not like they're ignoring V completely. They're like trying to bring in.
Yeah, that makes me happy and worried at the same time though, because I play Spikes and I'm like, oh no. What could they do? Is this going to be terrible if they do what they have right now? Right? Please don't. I don't want to move force markers.
Amazing, right?
Yeah, I don't want to move force markers. I don't want to retire units. I just want to swing a lot. All right. Or maybe just make another GB8 support. I don't know. I don't care. Right? I hope it's something fun.
Yeah. Like I just want more shield breaks. So, like I miss Die Kaiser. I want to break more shields. I want to nullify PGs and Sentinels. Like that's like a lifelong goal of mine. I miss that format where I can just like Superior, Break Ride, and like Break Ride Legion with
the Sin Buster. That was the most frustrating deck to play against.
Oh, Sin Buster. The fucking
Break Ride Sin Buster. Oh my god.
I feel like the next one we're gonna get maybe the end of the week.
We did get a Metalborg. We did get a Metalborg starter.
Yeah. That's hope.
I think the next thing we're gonna get though, the next reveal, maybe a Dimension Police card because different fight's supposed to do one, and hopefully he'll do one maybe end of the week. I have no idea. Okay, I'm just speculating here because like Kai's like 2 weeks ago, and then Vanguard Insider was this, so it could be Solemn or different fight, whatever. But we pretty much assumed different fight's gonna do Dimension Police. So
Yeah.
probably sooner than later. I'm trying to think. Well, what do you think the last one's gonna be? Like, I'm gonna throw a guess.
It's gonna be a 13K vanilla Cray Elemental
Oh,
It's
okay.
gonna be
with no gift.
All right. I know. Okay, last clan thing. So besides Cray
Bermuda.
Elemental,
Bermuda would probably go last.
I'm thinking that too.
Mhm.
Because it usually is, but man, something in my bones tells me something like Mega Colony, like something like that. I don't know. Nah, I think that's mean. That's just rude of me. But
It could be, or they could try and pull a fast one and do Token Ranbu.
no, get out of
No.
here, man.
No
Like-
way.
They already killed Token Rambu. I'm sad, but everyone's sad about that. But you know,
Yeah.
it's wild. Okay.
Fucking green.
All right, sweet. So we went all through all those. It was a lot of fun. Do you guys have anything else you wanted to say or talk about? Just over here.
Not really. I'm kind of all talked out right now.
Yeah, I
Alright.
agree.
All right. Well, we had a great discussion. We had just about an hour, you know. So
Yeah.
it's a good time. I thank you all for watching Vision Vanguard. If you're able to stick through all of this, right? Maybe you're just at home chilling, or at work, at home, watching us just talk about cards. But if you want to watch more, please check out our other videos, and remember to please go to our Vision Court if you want to check out some tournaments. And hopefully we'll have a new episode coming soon. This is super fun. We try to do this about every week or 2 weeks. And I think we might be putting it on SoundCloud soon. So we'll be on things other than YouTube. So kind of look out for
Alright.
that, right? So that'd be cool, right? Big. And Big Oil's coming in, right? They're going to
Big
put
oil.
they're gonna put us on SoundCloud, right?
Yeah.
So, all right. And without further ado, I was Sage from Vision.
And I'm the Alphonsus.
And I've been Chris. Thanks for
Yeah.
listening, everyone.
And peace.
Yeah. Cheers, guys. Woo.